6v6 is a lot better than 5v5 and here's why. Hey guys, welcome back to a new video on this channel about the current situation in Overwatch. There are currently many discussions about 6v6 or 5v5, what is better for Overwatch, and I have a clear opinion on the subject. Before we start, a short summary of my experience with the game Overwatch so far. I have been playing Overwatch for almost 8 years now, and yes, that's a very long time. And have been playing since almost release. I have around 4000 hours of playtime until today. I actually play all roles with the main focus on DPS and tank, and I was even active in esports scene for around 4 years. I was mainly an off-tank player in tournaments, so I played a lot of Sarah, Diva, Sigma and Hawk. And yes, off-tank was the role that Blizzard removed from the game with the release of Overwatch 2. I have lived through all phases of Overwatch so far, and was also a constant grandmaster in Overwatch 1, and usually in the top 500 as well. I've also played Overwatch 2 for around 600 hours now, so I think I have a good idea of what Overwatch must feel like and how the game can fulfill its full potential. Overwatch 2 was released in the 5v5 format and I've never really been a big fan of it, as I think the game works best in the 6v6 format and was developed for it. In general, Overwatch 2 didn't bring any big changes except for new heroes and buffed tanks to compensate for the cancelled tank in the team. In the 1.5 years or so that Overwatch 2 has been out, I haven't enjoyed the game near as much as Overwatch 1. It was nice to have new content, but the game didn't feel like Overwatch 1 anymore. I still played Overwatch 2 sometimes, but a lot less than before, as it still has an absolutely unique gameplay style in the gaming market. Not too long ago, however, a HP buff for all heroes was added to the game, which increased the base health from 200 to 250. As a result, the game has become much slower and the overall sustain has become much higher. This is also due to the fact that the supports have been buffed and passive health and regeneration for heroes has been added to the game. This patch finally made me feel like I wasn't going to play Overwatch anymore. It no longer felt like the game I loved for years. So what was the solution for me? I have been looking for possible workshop modes for a long time with the hope that someone would create a 6v6 workshop with original health for all heroes. And not too long ago I saw on Twitter from Samido that some modders created a new 6v6 workshop with an Overwatch 1 style. I've been testing the mode for several days now and have had more fun in these few days than in the entire time in Overwatch 2. The game finally felt like the original Overwatch again, which I absolutely loved. The base health was set back to 200, there were 2 tanks again, roll-up 222 and the game has completely flourished. I was confirmed in my opinion that 6v6 including normal health is the right mode for this game. The majority of the Overwatch community agrees and is putting pressure on the devs. Aaron Keller, the game director of Overwatch, has already announced a statement on this, which gives us some hope. Overwatch is a fast, very agile game and not a slow game. The problem of double shield no longer exists, which means that playing against Sigma and Orisa in a 6v6 format is now more enjoyable than ever. Genji is a lot better when every hero has his old base health, as Genji is designed to get his dash resets after kill so he can carry his team. Genji was a lot worse with the health buff than before the health buff. If a tank from the team dies, the fight is not immediately lost like in Overwatch 2, but you can still win the fight in a 5v6 because you still have a second hero on the tank role. You can combine your ultimates much better. For example, Genji with a nano blade with normal health can one-hit 200 HP targets with a combo of strike and dash. In the current state of Overwatch 2 with the health buff, this is no longer possible and makes nano blade for example a lot worse than before. In a 6v6 format and with normal health, every single player has much more impact than in Overwatch 2. In Overwatch 2 you knew from the start of some games that you were going to lose them and you could do whatever you wanted but you couldn't win. In 6v6 you can carry a lot more than in 5v5, especially as a DPS. The supports are also much better balanced. Also you have 2 tanks, you have less sustain because the tanks are much weaker and the opponents have more options to kill the supports. In Overwatch 2 and in the 5v5 format with health buff, fights were sometimes absolutely boring because you couldn't kill support so easily and generally there wasn't much going on in the fight. Tanks are also much more fun to play in the 6v6 format. Anyone who has ever played Reinhardt and Zero as a combo together knows what I mean. 6v6 just feels a lot more like Overwatch than the 5v5 format. Now, of course the question is why Blizzard switched to a 5v5 format in the first place with Overwatch 2. Blizzard announced they wanted to have less shields and stuns in Overwatch 2. I mean, they have managed to do this so far, but in my opinion that's completely independent of 5v5 or 6v6 as a play format. They have simply completely removed a role with an off tank from the game and have buffed every tank so much that it becomes a main tank. With Overwatch 2, apart from the changes I mentioned, there were very little new in the game compared to Overwatch, and I think they wanted to change the game format purely for marketing reasons to make something completely new to Overwatch 1. But you have to remember that the game worked very well in the 6v6 format for 6 years straight with the same heroes and the same abilities. You can see now how difficult it is for Blizzard to balance the game within a 5v5 format. The last change with the tank buff, for example, was one of the worst patches ever in the history of Overwatch. Before, in a 6v6 format, there were also problems and bad patches, yes, but the game never felt as bad as Overwatch 2 does right now. They have now managed to make the game formula unrecognizable, and with the health buff and 5v5 format have taken the game very far away from what Overwatch used to be. A unique hero shooter with many different abilities where each hero could have a noticeable impact in the game. In my opinion, it was a big mistake to release Overwatch 2 in a 5v5 format. Another mistake was the health buff update. The last few days when I played the workshop mode with 6v6 and the original health on the heroes, I realized again how Overwatch should feel, and I finally had some real fun with Overwatch again. I love Overwatch, it's one of my favorite games and I've spent a lot of time playing it. That's why it's very important to me and now also to many others that Blizzard finally sees what the fans want. I want 6v6 back and less health on the individual heroes with a base health of 200. Overwatch was most successful in this format and will always remain so. Feel free to write me your opinion on the question of whether 5v5 or 6v6 in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any more gaming videos. Thanks for watching and I will see you next time.